And if you're going to go the affordable route, which is fine because I did it too, it's a safe space where rooms can really skyrocket, couldn't do that.
I don't know where to begin. Could be the curves on your body, but then could be your hair, maybe your skin. Yeah.
Hi guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Ree. Hi, on this channel we talk about a lot of things, mainly travel, life, and beauty. So if you're interested in those things, make sure you hit that subscribe. I just wanted to do this video. So this video is going to be very concise, detailed, filled up with all the good stuff, the information, all the pros, the cons, all of the things that you need when it comes to how to travel to Europe on a budget. Because I honestly think I achieved that this summer / fall / birthday season of mine, whatever you want to call it. So if you're new here, I recently just posted 2 fun little travel vlogs, one to Santorini, Greece, and the other one to Paris, where we just did another 48-hour layover and just got to experience the beauty of 2 European countries that we've never been before. So I got to experience that with my boyfriend. It was really fun and we had a really good time. But I would always say, like, honestly, the hidden treasure of that entire experience and that trip was that we got to do it for under $1,500, which I think is really good for a Euro trip. It's like someone literally told me I would need $10,000 to really go and experience Europe and have a good time, and that was simply not true. And I had to unlearn and beat all of the lies and the myths and really do it on my own. So I wanted to share this video just for someone like me who just needs some inspo tips. I'm gonna also share my full budget breakdown of how much we spent. Bear in mind, we also had to include our trip from the US back home. I'm from the Bahamas, so that also is incorporated. So obviously, if you're traveling directly from the United States or Canada, it will be a lot cheaper for you, which is gonna be wonderful, and thumbs up, and I love that for you. But yeah, I'm just including it from my perspective, just for that full disclosure, context, all of that good stuff. So I'm not gonna do too much rambling because this video is already a lot of nice talking, a lot of gems being dropped. But let's get into how to travel to Europe on a budget. So I think the first step, to be honest, in any sort of Euro trip, Euro adventure, is really writing down which cities you really want to experience. So for me, are non-negotiable. We had to go to Santorini, Greece. I would not feel good with myself if I caught all those flights and I didn't see the one city that I really wanted to see. So for us, Santorini was our non-negotiable. Like, we have to go to Santorini, Greece. But our second city, we actually were a lot more flexible with it. So I looked at a lot of options. So I looked at us exploring cities like London, United Kingdom. Barcelona, Spain was actually at the tippity top of the list, to be honest, because I just want to experience that city as well. And I had that on my list. Also Madrid. I wanted to go to Amsterdam, Milan, Italy, Rome. I even was debating if I should just make an entire Greek adventure and go to Athens and just explore that city as well. So we had about 10 days basically in our vacation that was allotted to us by our employers to make something happen. So we decided, hey, let's split up. Even when we include the 2 days worth of travel days to, go back and forth, that would give us about 6 days of opportunity. So we decided to do the 4 nights in Greece and then the 2 nights in Paris. So that was kind of like where our thought process was. But I would say the first step to any good quality Europe trip is after you determine the duration of your trip. If it's under 2 weeks, I would highly recommend maybe hitting up 2 to 3 countries, 2 to 3 main cities that you really enjoy. And it really helps to write that list down because you have to be flexible when you're looking for flights. If you want to find cheap flights and if you're going to go the affordable route, which is fine because I did it too, it's a safe space. We have to be flexible, we have to be open. And that's my biggest travel secret that I can share. Also, full disclaimer, disclosure, all of that. I booked everything for us by myself. I went online, I pulled out my big girl pants and I did my tippity typing and I put in my credit card and I purchased all the tickets. All of the excursions, all of the hotels were booked by me. So you don't need a travel agent to do it. If you want to go the travel agent route, by all means, and I snap my finger to you. But if you enjoy travel planning like as much as I do, it's definitely possible, and it's kind of exciting to like connect the dots and see all the possibilities of how you can get to and from home and still have a good time. All right, right, so once you've done your travel research and you determine your route, then obviously, ting, 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 cue the CPA and me, you have to figure out your budget. So I was able to travel to Greece for $2,560. I sat down, I did the math, I calculated everything, and I feel as though that price was pretty good compared to prices that I've seen. When I did my initial research, I saw a range of about $5,000 to $10,000. It's usually what people spend on a Euro trip, just in terms of flights, hotel stays, all of that. And that was kind of like, I feel like, the higher end scale. So I was trying to keep it to a healthy no more than $3,000. But when I got it to 25, I was like very happy and impressed with myself. And that includes all of the flights, hotels, everything. So I'll get into that breakdown as well. So I feel like determining a budget that you are willing to stick to, which you are able to put into maybe a savings fund, which you're able to store in a separate account or a rainy day or cash, whatever, however you want to save it, however you want to spend it. If you want to put it all on a credit card and don't think about it, I support that as well, because I've done that before. This is a safe space. I've done it. So yeah, however you want to do it, set your budget, have that in mind. And I honestly we started traveling around September 13th. Everything was pretty much booked by July, end of July, early August. So I try to book things ahead of time to give ourselves some wiggle room to accumulate some shopping funds, some fun money, and all that stuff. So the earlier you can do it, the better, obviously, and that works well for prices and being flexible and stuff like that. So the earlier the better. But yeah, budget matters, timing matters, all of that good stuff. Okay, so let's get into our budget breakdown for our trip. So I sat down, y'all, and I did the math. So I have it in like 4 sections, basically. I have us going to New York, doing the overnight, and then going to Greece, and then us going from Greece to Paris, and then us going from Paris back to New York, but also going through Fort Lauderdale, Florida to get back home to Nassau, Bahamas. So I did the full math, did the full breakdown, and that put me at $2,560. When it comes to and this was a 10-day trip, and these I would qualify as like fixed travel expenses. Bear in mind, we obviously had to eat maybe breakfast, lunch, or dinner, depending on what the hotel accommodated. Almost all of our hotels included breakfast, which is nice, so we would just have to find maybe lunch or dinner depending on our vibe. But yeah, that's like fun money. I'm calculating how much it was, like fixed, all in, travel, spent, that money. So yeah, let's talk about flights. All in, our flights landed us at about $1,400. So $1,440 to be exact. So the most expensive leg of that was obviously us getting to Greece through that route, which we spent I guess a pretty penny on. Fortunately, we were able to use our JetBlue miles because there was a flight from Charles G Airport in Paris directly back to JFK. Ting, ting, ting. Fortunately, we were able to pull some of our TrueBlue points, so we didn't end up paying the full price of that flight. We got it at a huge discount through the points, so that's why our flights were a little bit under $1,500, which I feel like is pretty good for an entire like 10-day experience to travel on that budget. Oh yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am. Like, I'm okay with that. So $1,400 for flights. That alone was like a huge win. Bear in mind, we did go the affordable route when we went there, because as you can see, we had a long overnight layover in New York, and then we went to London Gatwick, and then we went to Santorini. So I think there was an option for maybe go directly to Athens. Or there are splurge options that you can take where you can get there a little bit quicker, or just catch one flight. But we just did like more like a hop over process because it was more affordable. That's just the facts of it. We went the affordable route. Then when it comes to hotels, our Greek stay was the most expensive at about $400 per person. And then in Paris, we were more on the cost conscious side. We decided to stay at the airport where the hotel prices were obviously cheaper. We stayed at the airport versus staying in the heart of Paris, right next to the Eiffel Tower, where rooms can really skyrocket. Couldn't do that. Shout out to Paris. Like, the hotels are hoteling. Whoa, what a price. So we decided not to go that route, save our money, go to the airport, and then catch a Bolt back and forth. Another pro tip, as I slide that in, download Bolt if you're in Paris, because I felt like we saved so much money using Bolt. It's honestly the same quality of drivers and customer service as Uber or Lyft. And those, when I was comparing my Uber prices for taxis versus Bolt was almost always significantly cheaper. So you have to download Bolt. Our taxis all in, we spent about $240 on taxis. In Greece, we decided to book our airport taxis through booking.com, which was really seamless. Our taxi drivers were wonderful and they showed up on time. So I recommend doing the whole pre-booked airport route. Let's be honest, arriving at a new airport can get a little bit hectic and confusing, especially when you've been traveling long term. The easiest gift you can give yourself in that moment is to just pre-book your airport transportation. It cost us about, I believe, $30 each way, and I felt like it made the world of a difference in terms of our peace of mind, in terms of knowing how we're getting to and from the airport. Oh, and then we rented the car for one day when we were in Fort Lauderdale, just for one day, which was about $40 a person, so it wasn't too bad. The only excursion we did, which was in Greece, which was the boat day, we spent about $165 per person. Other than that, I guess you could factor in the wine tasting, but the wine tasting, I believe, was only maybe 30 euros or something. It was very affordable. Like, it wasn't, and it was more so linked to our fund money because we didn't expect to do it and it wasn't pre-booked. This was kind of like all the money that we spent before we even hopped on the plane. So flying, hotel, taxis, excursions put us all in at $2,560. I feel like that was really good for what we got and all that we experienced. And if anything, I think this method worked really well in terms of budget traveling, and I'm going to use it for like another trip, another couple cities, and see how I can map it out to where it's more bang for your buck. All right, so I wanted to get into a few more tips when it came to Santorini. First of all, if there was ever a place in this world that you have to see, you gotta go to Santorini. I'm sorry. I'm all for experiencing other wonders of the world, but the pictures don't even do it justice, y'all. The vlog did not do it justice in terms of beauty and waking up. It literally would bring tears to your eyes to be able to wake up in such a beautiful place and experience life and its beautiful luxuries and drink wine and eat fresh Greek salads. It was just epic. But you could see that from the travel vlog. Tips I wanted to provide is that the bus service is very reliable. I feel as though from different stations. So some people stay in like Akrati, which is I guess closer to the beach, or like other side to the beach. Nikki Beach is a completely different way from Ia. The main city where you see the calderas and the blue domes and where everybody take pictures, that's Ia. The other city that we visited, that's called Fira. It has a bit more affordability to it, but it still has beautiful views. It still has beautiful restaurants. It just depends on, I wanted to experience both cities. A lot of research went into where we wanted to stay. To be honest, who doesn't want to stay in Ia, in a cave, and live their best life? But babes, that costs money. And when the price points were getting thrown at you, either you pay or you adjust it. So we decided, what is the possibility of us still experiencing Ia, but not necessarily in the expensive cave suite, which is fine if you can afford it, and I love it for you, and I aspire to be you one day. But our budget wasn't as strong to match the cave price. So we decided to take a little 5 to 10 minute walk, go down, experience the luxury suites, and still have the time of our lives. So when it comes to whether you should stay in Ia or Fira, hands down, don't believe the hype and the lies and the TikToks. You have to stay, in my opinion. Staying in Ia was so much more worth it. We walked everywhere. We had access to food, the bus stop. We literally did everything we wanted to do and more. And we stayed in Ia, and it was just so easy, convenient, and great, and just central, and allowed us to experience, I feel like, the Santorini that we see online and on television. Like, we felt like we were really there and having a good time and being able to access it. So I highly recommend staying in Ia. We only had to exchange euros once because there was, I think, a situation where we were trying to get something on the street and the person didn't have a credit card machine, so we just got some euros and stuff like that. So we didn't really need euros to pay for like restaurants and things. Most of those things were accessible, but when it comes to just supporting small local vendors or something like that, we just got euros for that. Oh, another pro tip I do is obviously when it comes to data, you know, you want to be safe. I use Air Allo. I use that regional SIM that allows you to connect to multiple European countries. So with one SIM, I have access to so many different countries, like 40 plus European countries through that one SIM. And I think it's more bang for your buck. So I used Air Allo and I just topped it up as I needed to. But I think I did the 2 gigs for $10 and it lasted me the entire Greece trip, and honestly till I got home. So it lasted the full duration of the trip, because when you really think about it, everywhere has Wi-Fi, so I just needed that in cases of emergencies. Other tips I'd give, I think the boat day was worth it. I liked how we didn't commit to doing like a multi-tour wine tasting and we were only able to experience one, which is totally fine. The wine tastings look beautiful. I would say the biggest hype was the Santorini sunset and where to catch it, and I felt like there were so many opportunities to catch it free, so many opportunities to catch it paid in a restaurant, so many opportunities to catch it when we were on the boat. So it was just, the beauty of it was just so accessible all around that I would say it's something that you're going to see regardless. Like some people were like overhyping, oh, you have to stay at this restaurant and book this time. Relax, breathe. Everywhere is beautiful, and everywhere is very possible. The only reservation that we ever booked was Mama's in Fira, because I saw it on TikTok, and you know, TikTok things always get booked out or sold out, and which they did. Mama's was packed that night, so I'm very glad I booked a reservation for that. Everything else was a recommendation from our wonderful hostess at our luxury suites, North Bend Luxury Suites. The team there is amazing. They provide you with access to so much information, a WhatsApp that you can reach out to 24/7. Honestly, never felt lost, alone, depressed, nothing, whatever we needed that we didn't understand. Our hotel associate, Alexa, she even helped us when we couldn't find our airport taxi back to the airport on our last day. It was taking a little while. She called them, she confirms. She just was wonderful. It was just, honestly, the team there was truly top tier. So I highly recommend where we stayed. I'll link it down below, of course. Another thing I wanted to mention too, because I think it's something that's not heavily talked about, Santorini is very much a romantic vacation spot. And I just want to clear that up, because I know a lot of people do that for like cruise trips, or it depends on like, you know, what you want to do it for. But even on our boat day, even when we experienced when we were walking through Ia, 9 times out of 10 it was for a couple. So it's a very romantic and lovey-dovey spot. So I just wanted to make sure you all knew that it's very much a couple-centric destination. So some destinations you can see like a mixed crowd. To be honest, we saw a lot of couples and we talked to a lot of couples, and that's just the vibe that it gave. But that's okay. I heard Mykonos is more of a party place, and then obviously there are other Greek islands that have different things to offer. So I felt as though maybe we didn't like see it heavily publicized as that, but Santorini believes in love. Santorini said we will be the new city of love further down. So that was nice. In terms of food, everywhere we recommended, we would thoroughly recommend. Nikki Beach is literally far away from ER. That's like a 30-40 minute taxi ride and stuff. And we almost stayed in Nikki Beach. So just be mindful of where you, and which is fine. You might want to be in Nikki Beach and catch a different vibe from Greece. But this is our first time in Greece. Let's cut the cameras. We wanted to be in ER. We wanted to be by the blue domes. We wanted to take pictures. So Nikki Beach just wouldn't have aligned with our overall goal, which is fine. Okay, so let's talk about Paris real quick. Oh, that was a city. The metro is so reliable and it's so easy to use. So I highly recommend taking the metro. Our hotel wasn't actually situated near a metro, so we had to take the taxi in. But once we got into the city, we took the metro, which is really nice. I had no idea Paris was so huge. Just as like, you know, a Westerner from a little island gal. Nobody told me Paris was so big and there was so much to do. Also, I would say the biggest learning lesson from Paris is, first of all, I felt like we saw all of our key Paris-y things that we wanted to do in one day. We saw the Louvre, we saw Eiffel Tower, Arc de Triomphe, Champs-Élysées. We did so much in one day. And then it was an opportunity for us to consider, what if we took a day trip to like Brussels or London, or like, you know, what if we actually explored another city, because the Eurostar goes places in like 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours. So I would say Paris is just such a great vantage point for you to experience other European cities. And even we was toying with the possibility of going to Disneyland, which I completely forgot Paris had a Disneyland. So I feel like Paris has a lot to offer, to where maybe we should have planned it a bit better. But honestly, that's the joy of just doing a random trip. You gotta get to make the most of it. Could you see all that we saw in Paris in one day? Yes. And could you have gone somewhere else and maybe experienced a bit more of like another culture for another day? And yeah, I felt like we could. The only issue or the headache was making sure that we have to meet the train back, because there's no way we're getting stuck in people's country. So that was like the backwards fare of that. And then something that I wanted to debunk about Paris that was debunked to me on this trip. You know how like people make you think like, oh, like Parisians are just naturally rude, and if you try to speak French, they're like, mom, speak English, or they'll try to be like, you know, just look down on you almost. We did not experience those vibes. Paris was wonderful. Everybody was kind. Everybody was sweet. Everybody honestly was so kind. When I was trying to learn my little French, it'd be like, je parle français, and au revoir, merci beaucoup. I was trying to do my little 1-2 French stab, and everybody was so encouraging. I was so surprised. So yeah, this is your sign. Debunk these myths. And sometimes it's really good just to create your own experiences versus relying on what we learn from media or TV. Sometimes it's great just to forge your own path and experience it, because Paris was wonderful, and I'm so glad I went, and I'm so glad I didn't hesitate to experience it. It's such a wonderful time coming off of the Olympics. I just feel like we were such a genius for adding Paris as a 48-hour layover to the trip. Like I just feel like we're a bunch of smarty pants. Oh, and then last thing I want to mention about Paris, very much a card city, as obviously most cities are now in Europe. We didn't need euros for anything, to be honest. We just paid for our card. Even the metro, everything was straightforward, and everything was just linked to your card. So yeah, it was super fun, super easy to get around, and I highly recommend. It seems like if you want to do museums and stuff like that, probably book those in advance. We ended up not doing any museums, but they truthfully were packed, to be honest, from what I could see. So book anything you want to do in Paris in advance probably, but that's really it. Y'all, let's talk about this tax refund. So I decided to use the tax refund process in Paris to buy my Pauline bag. And when you go to the store, you have to present your passport, get your tax refund forms, and then you have to go to the tax refund section at the airport when you're leaving, get stamped and processed and all of that. Let me share it with you. It seems a little bit simple, but there can be a lot of instances of hiccups. For example, our flight was early, so when I went to the tax refund section at CDG, it wasn't open, and I had to wait 10 minutes and holler and ask somebody to come, and the customs officer, he took a little while. Then when he took a while, and then let me provide further context. There are kiosks, but sometimes you cannot use the kiosk. I don't know, depending on your passport or depending on what you purchase, you have to get stamped or actually talk to the customs officer. So if you're using the kiosk, it's simple. It goes back to it either goes back to your credit card, or you get it back, I believe, in cash or something like that. I just used the credit card option because it was easier. But just be mindful of the tax refund times that they open in the airport, because that had me a little stumped, and make sure to follow through with it. Because when I was there and the customs officer told me it was good to go, I checked back 2 to 3 days and it told me still processing or still invalid. As to which I emailed the team of the tax refund and I asked queries. I said, hi, I was there, it was processed, and they went ahead and processed it for me back to my credit card. So the process works, the tax refund works, it's super simple. I would just say there is a bit of follow through to it. Make sure you bring your passport. A lot of people will not accept copies of your passport. You have to bring your physical passport around with you, which is fine because you're gonna have a very cute belt bag and you're gonna be safe and protected, and you're very much a nurtured king or queen in this world, so you're smart, which is fine. because you don't play with your passport. That ain't no joke. So obviously it's going to be well protected as you go around and explore the city, but you have to bring your physical passport because that's the only way to work. And I'm very glad I experienced it, and I do think it was significantly cheaper than what I would have bought in terms of luxury designer in the States. I think even with the euro conversions and everything, you save some coin with a tax refund. So I'm now fully aware of how the system works, and I fully intend to milk it to the fullest extent. Alright y'all, I think I talk y'all ear off, but I do feel like this video was necessary if you wanted to learn more about our Euro trip, the behind the scenes, the costs, all of the pros, the tips, all of that. I do feel like this video was good. I know it's a helpful little nugget. So hopefully y'all enjoyed. Please give it a thumbs up if you found it helpful. If you have any other questions on how to travel to Europe on a budget, please let me know. If you have any specific questions on Santorini, Greece, or past France, I'm here to help. I got you. And yeah, as always, I appreciate you. I love you. Here you bye. See you in the next one. Bye.